Welcome to Chapter 14, Managing Work Groups, Teamwork, Morale, and Counseling. In this lecture, we'll discuss why work groups form for a variety of reasons. Groups commonly form for companionship and identification, for behavioral guidelines, for problem solving, or from protection from outside forces such as supervisors. Work groups are important because they satisfy individual employee needs in some way, and they give the supervisor insight into people's needs and motivations. There are 4 major classifications of work groups, although there is often overlap, with employees belonging to more than one group. Command groups are groups of employees associated according to their authority relationships on formal organizational charts. Task groups are made up of employees who come together to accomplish a particular task. Friendship groups are informal groups of employees that are based on similar personalities and social interests. Special interest groups exist to accomplish something that the individuals do not choose to pursue separately. The Hawthorne research studies demonstrated that work groups can have either a positive or a negative influence on employee performance. To influence work groups in a positive direction, supervisors should review the keys to building effective teams. Teams should be relatively small, and members must have the necessary skills and be committed to specific and realistic objectives. Work teams are called self-directed or self-managed if they are given wide latitude and autonomy for making decisions concerning workplace organizations. Organized participative management programs primarily involve building effective teams to work on tasks that will improve work performance and customer service. For such a program to be effective, top level and other managers must give their full support over a sufficient period of time. No team can be effective without teamwork. High employee morale leads workers to be more satisfied, more confident and enthusiastic, working to the extent of their full abilities. This appears to lead to greater productivity, although studies have not been conclusive. Interestingly, high morale and teamwork do not necessarily go together. Teamwork may be high during a recession, even though morale might be low. Employers have no control over external factors that influence morale and can only listen and try to help the employee develop solutions for these factors. Internal factors are ones that the supervisor does have some control over, and so the supervisor can have a great impact on them. The most significant influence on employee morale is an internal factor, the supervisor's general attitude and behavior in daily situations. Observation involves just that, monitoring and setting patterns of employee behavior. By noting indicators of employee morale, such as job performance, tardiness, and absenteeism, supervisors can get a preliminary idea of employee morale. When more information is required, surveys such as attitude surveys and exit interviews may be more useful. In any case, follow-up is critical, although it need not always be as extensive as organizational development meetings. Supervisors must deal with on-the-job performance problems that are the result of the employee's personal problems. If left unattended, these problems may decrease morale and eventually impact quality and productivity. The steps in the counseling process include identifying performance problems, asking questions, being an empathetic listener to the employee's concerns, and perhaps referring the employee to a source for his or her assistance problems. Most firms have 2 major types of programs that can be used to assist employees with personal and work-related problems. An employee assistance program can be created by management and used to assist employees whose job performance has deteriorated. Alternatively, an ombudsman can be used, a staff person who serves as a neutral mediator to help resolve conflicts on the job. Supervisors should pay attention to work groups because a person's motivations and reasons for behavior are often found in the context of the person's associates, colleagues, and peers. Oftentimes, work groups form to provide companionship and identification. Work groups also provide behavior guidelines and give a platform to problem solve. They can also protect workers from outside forces such as supervisors. Work groups are most cohesive when group members are perceived as higher in status than non-members, when the group is generally small in size, when members share similar personal characteristics such as age, gender, and interests, when the group is located physically apart from other employees, when the group has been formed for self-protection or due to other outside pressures, when group members can communicate with one another relatively easy, and when the group has been successful in some previous group effort. This often encourages members to seek new group objectives. A command group refers to grouping employees according to authority relationships on the formal organizational chart. Task group or cross-functional teams are groups of employees who come together to accomplish a particular task. Often, employees can come from different departments. Friendship groups are informal groupings of employees based on similar personalities and social interests. Special interest groups are groups of employees that come together to accomplish something in a group that individuals do not choose to pursue individually. These groups may be either temporary or permanent. These classifications of work groups may overlap with employees being members of several groups in the workplace. Supervisors who understand the nature of these groups will be in a more likely position to influence them. The Hawthorne studies was comprehensive research that focused on workgroup dynamics as related to employee attitudes and productivity. A review of two major experiments follows. The relay assembly room experiment showed that if members of a workgroup believe that they're part of a team and that they are doing something that's important, a workgroup can be a very positive influence on job performance. In contrast, the bank wiring observation room experiment showed that work groups can have a negative influence on job performance. Employees pressured each other to keep productivity at a relatively low rate, regardless of wage raises and other management incentives. Katzenbach and Smith, two management consultants, identified 4 principles common to effective work teams. 1. Members are generally committed to the group and its performance. 2. They are small, usually 10 members or less. 3. They're composed of people with complementary skills. And finally, they are committed to a specific and realistic objective. Jones and Beverline wrote Developing High-Performance Work Teams and discovered that supervisors can be transformed into a team leader, but must be coached, supported, and encouraged. Team members must increase feelings of personal responsibility for the team's success, and supervisors must coach team members and facilitate meetings. Teamwork refers to people working cooperatively to solve problems and achieve goals important to the group. A collaborative workplace is a work environment characterized by joint decision-making, shared accountability and authority, and high levels of trust between employees and managers. Self-directed or self-managed work teams, also known as autonomous work teams, can be considered the ultimate in efforts to maintain a collaborative workplace by having employees made largely responsible for managing themselves and their work. Participative management programs that are not given the necessary resources or that were implemented as a quick fix are likely to fail. There are 16 keys to ensuring that teams work. Group members need to agree on and commit to team goals. All members participate actively in meetings. All team members follow team rules, guidelines, and procedures. All members are valued, and team members share vital information. Members need to express their ideas without fear of reprisal. A systematic problem-solving approach has to take place that encourages creativity. All members are included in problem-solving and decision-making. Decision-making is made by consensus, and the team needs to be cohesive. The last of the 16 keys includes the idea that conflict is viewed as healthy. Group members are given honest feedback. Team training and peer helping is provided. The team continually evaluates its own performance. Members take pride in their accomplishments, and they also enjoy their affiliation. Morale is a composite of feelings and attitudes that people and groups have towards their work, their environment, their supervisors, top-level management, and the company. Morale and teamwork don't necessarily go together. Teamwork may be high during a recession, even though morale might be low. But there is some evidence which suggests that high morale can lead to greater productivity. Certainly, high morale makes work more pleasant for everyone. High morale leads employees to be more satisfied, more confident, and enthusiastic, working to the extent of their abilities when compared with lower morale. High morale is the result of good human relations and is largely the responsibility of the supervisor. Morale should be everyone's concern, from the chief executive officer down to the supervisor. Morale is also contagious, not only within a company, but to customers as well. Organizational efforts to make the environment more meaningful and creative by relating work to employees' personal values and spiritual beliefs is what's referred to as workplace spirituality. External factors are influences on employee morale that are beyond the supervisor's control. Examples include family relationships, outside pressures, car breakdowns, and the death of a family member. Internal factors are factors within the company, partially or entirely under the supervisor's control, that influence employee morale. Examples include compensation, job security, trying to motivate employees, and the nature of the work. By observing, monitoring, and studying patterns of employee behavior, a supervisor often will discover clues to employee morale. Such indicators include job performance, tardiness, absenteeism, complaints, use of resources, and accident and safety records. Exit interviews are interviews with people who leave a firm that are used to assess morale and the reasons for employee turnover. Attitude surveys are surveys of employees' opinions about major aspects of a company that is used to assess morale, sometimes also called opinion or morale surveys. Follow-up survey results is crucial to both management's understanding and employee morale. Whenever possible, problems identified in attitude surveys should be addressed promptly by managers and supervisors, even if that simply involves communicating to employees that management is aware of the problem and possible future action that may be taken. Organizational development meetings are held under the guidance of a neutral conference leader to solve problems that are hindering organizational effectiveness, sometimes called team building or conflict resolution. There are many factors that supervisors have to deal with that can lead to bad morale among employees: substance abuse, downsizing, personal life issues. The most significant influence on employee morale is the supervisor's general attitude and behavior in daily situations. Counseling is often provided to employees as an effort by the supervisor to deal with on-the-job performance problems that are the result of an employee's personal problems. A counseling interview is a non-directive interview during which the supervisor listens empathetically and encourages the employee to discuss problems openly and to develop solutions. The supervisor's main role is to get the employee's performance back to an acceptable level. The Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993 affects all employees. It's imperative that supervisors refer to the Human Resources Department for interpretation of the FMLA provisions. The Employee Assistance Program that a company may have is to help employees with personal or work-related problems that are interfering with job performance. Supervisors must be alert to signs that an employee is in trouble beyond the range of normal supervisory procedures. A wellness program refers to organized efforts by a firm to help employees get and stay healthy in order to remain productive. Workplace incivility has gotten worse in the last 10 years. Recent studies found that men are 7 times more likely to be rude to their underlings. 12% of people who experience incivility quit their jobs to avoid the perpetrator. 52% lose work time worrying, and 22% of people deliberately decrease their work effort as a result of the incivility. Supervisors should be alert to warning signs, such as a sudden interest in bringing weapons to the workplace or paranoid behavior, and report them to higher management, the Human Resources Department, or the EAP staff in order to have policies and procedures in place. This both prevents the situation from escalating and it gives employees the opportunity to deal with the situation.